while we're waiting for the soup, I'm just going to cut a piece of mount board. This is the back of the frame. I'm just marking an inch all around. This is a, what's it called? A freestyle basic mount board cutter. Morning everyone, and welcome to this week's video. I think it is definitely going to be a lot of paper this week. I'm late to the party, I think. No one told me how good it is working with acrylic on this really heavy duty, lovely textured watercolour paper. I'm absolutely loving it. I've just started this little one of the pieces that I cut from the large sheet as a taster, really, to see what I can do with see what the acrylics will do, how much I can wash them around. I do like having this tooth on the paper to work with. I'm really enjoying that. I'm going to do lots of those. I'm going to try and do all the pieces that I cut. I've got in the house at the moment, in the evening, I've got a little pile here of things that have been half started, left. So I really want to try and concentrate, rotate a little layer here, move on. I can spread out a few bits on the coffee table to dry. I've ordered mounts online and the border is not quite enough. And then when you put in your bespoke size, it becomes quite expensive. That's the reason we dug out our really old mount cutter tool. Craig is more precise with that than I can be. I can do it, but it's more his bag, and so that's a little joint project that we've got going at the moment to try and get some mounts cut, obviously to fit frames. He's working on some frames, and so I really want to get these paperworks underway, mounted and framed. We have sunshine today, so I'm on the new table. I've got my squares. I've been working on the kitchen table, but I thought it might be good fun to take four, and I've got an assortment of, I've just grabbed a few brushes and a palette tool, and mostly I've got blue paint. This is a phthalo turquoise. I've got nothing in my head particularly, as usual. I could reference something that I'm working on. I enjoyed that. I put a little bit on there. I don't know if I'm in the right place. So maybe something of that. So let's just put a bit of sky colour in. I won't wash all of it out. I'll leave a little bit of the depth in. So the acrylics can wash down, water them and make them very watercolour-ish. What really excites me with this paper is, well, exactly the same effect that you would get with your watercolours. Lay in more water. I don't know where I'm going with this midsection. I really love blue and burnt sienna. I think this burnt sienna's a little bit clogged up. That's going to go. I'm going to splodge down a bit of burnt sienna, get a bit of water on that palette knife. that along. I'm just moving it in different directions, thinning it down on this one for an effect. That's nice. I like the way the phthalo turquoise has just played a little bit as they've merged together. So let's just move them over. So again, it's very watercolourish when you throw some water on it. Instinct nose just to pull down to get that lighter quality. Woof! So that appeals to me immediately. I like what's going on in there. Let's just really get more water on that. When you let it freewheel, the paint will often take a direction, suggest a direction that you might not have thought of, and that in itself is really lovely, good fun. Let's top out there. I'm going to just go and get some tissue. Just lift up. If I turn them that way. So we'll call this, well, this is stage 1. That excites me the most. I'll leave these up in the sunshine to dry, and this will make a nice little series. I've been sorting out, I've got heaps of dried flowers that I'm making. I'll show you later. I thought I'd ordered hoops this big, and they came and they're this big. So I've been experimenting with my dried flowers on those. And I cut these very, very late, and they're disappointing. The sedums, all their colour has gone. And they haven't dried. I've got a huge bundle of them, and they haven't dried very well. But what I did notice is that they make really good trees. So I'm tempted to try and follow that, use those to get myself a tree in somewhere. They're fantastic. The structure of all plants blows my mind. They're so clever. I won't put them on the compost. I'll see if I can use them for some drawing inspiration. When these are dry, I could go in and try and pen in. It might be a little forest or something. Always the best inspo is nature for me. I'm looking down at boat. I grew the boat a bit bigger and added a bit here and there. I'll turn the camera. I'm not sure. I'm just going to let it brew a little bit. Could this be a happy accident? So how to respond when you have, I couldn't resist mopping up that ink and now I've got to respond to that. This for me is where the excitement lies. White paint and see what happens. So this is complete experimentation. I was intentional on trying here to get some tree marks in. What will happen if I spray, let things run? Do I want to turn the work upside down? Perhaps I do. Do I want to turn the work sideways? I'm liking that. So there's quite a lot on there and I'll leave that to dry. I don't know about this middle section, but I'll just ponder that, leave it. So very different. Once you start layering up your acrylics, you get a very different effect from that, which is watercolour-ish, as opposed to something much more solid. I do like it. As I was doing this, it just put me in mind of all those long journeys on the motorway through France, and it just gave me that memory. Isn't it amazing what painting can do? You often think of it the other way round, that you should have a memory or you should have something in mind before you start painting, but for me it's often the reverse. I start painting and the memory or the place or the time or the feeling of a place and time come flooding in, and then I can push into that. So warming up, going back into those 4 little paintings. For me, it's a kind of an organic thing. I can sit down and rack my brains and I think, oh my God, I need an idea, and nothing comes, no ideas will come. If I just simply engage with some paint and paper, pencils, pens, just start messing, and things develop and kind of you're open then to an idea. If I overthink, if I try too hard, I tend to hit a brick wall. Yeah. Someone said the other day, where are your florals? And I'll never not paint florals, I'm sure, but I'm really enjoying everything else. Having a go, just having a go. I had a great comment, reading in the comments, about grounding the boat. And it's really good because when I look at my sketch, there is a bit more depth under here. So I'm very grateful, because when you're on top of things, you can't always see. And I've come in this morning and yeah, the boat could do with a bit more grounding. The boat's not finished. It's getting a bit bigger and a bit bigger. And it's very unfinished, but I'm just taking my time and just enjoying a little bit here and a little bit there. Working so much on the smalls at the moment, I'm itching to get going on another canvas, and I did yesterday put down a bit of paint. So I'm going to show you. And this is a really good example of starting something and then completely changing your mind, and it's completely okay. I think you need to give yourself the freedom to change your mind. I used to think, I've started, I've got to hang in, I've got to see it through to the end. Why? I woke up this morning and thought, I don't know, I thought I was going to follow one of the smalls, and if I grab it, that section I think I mentioned already, this section was giving me jip right from the beginning, and you can see, I can see I'm struggling with it. So as I've said before, if it looks like a struggle, my advice to myself is just get rid of it. It's not worth keeping it. I absolutely adore this section, so I think I'll attempt to improve on that this morning. If I can rectify that centre section, maybe I can do something here. Right, I'm just going to block out. Something better. That's something better. Let that dry and see. I feel with this one I want to I'll pen in now, maybe, and here it's dried quite weakly, so some pen work maybe there. However, that one, I really love the effect of thicker paint, just little dots of thicker paint. So possibly I'll not do too much, but I think lunch is calling now. All that's in my head for gifting this year is to present, to put a mount and a frame and gift what I'm working on. It depends, doesn't it? It depends. If you know someone would really appreciate inks or particular paints, I think that's a lovely thing to do. But if it's someone that might just like a little bit of your art, this might be an equally nice thing to do. So I'm pushing on. That is very wet now. So that needs more. And what have we got on that one? And I'm leaving that, I'm pausing with that. It's very wet. You've noticed probably, if you have a nice piece of your 300, at least your 300 GSM paper, I purposely use it as a palette for the paint. It gives me an automatic first layer, and when the sheet's full of marks from working, it will make the next piece of abstract paperwork. So that excites me. It's like a 2-for-1, a twofer. So I'm going to end here this week. I thought I'd get these little guys all finished, but I'm going to talk, I think, next week. The one thing that I notice from colleagues in the Art Society and from general public that come in when they come to exhibition, people love to talk about what they're doing with their art, and I like to hear. And the biggest takeaway is that people say they wish they could free up, they wish they could loosen up. And I read it in the comments as well. So I'm thinking about next week some more ideas and another approach on how to free up, but we'll talk more about that next week. The boat, I still think the boat needs to be a bit bigger, and I've got one small paperwork that I adore, that I'm going to try and put that onto the other big square canvas. So plenty to think about. I've just realised I talked about my dried flowers, and I can try and fit those in next week. I'm feeling I'm running out of time before Christmas and a little close of the cabin. But I just think about coming back in after the holiday. So that's next week. Whatever you're up to, have a lovely week, everyone. Thank you so much for all the support, comments, suggestions, help with grounding, and I've had more comments in about Grow the Boat, so we're all on the same page. It's really, really good stuff. Have a lovely week, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.